Here's this thing. It's the Doctor Who Symphonic Spectacular. Now, so let's find out. So, Ben, what are you doing?
I am the conductor and the arranger of Murray Gold's fabulous music for Doctor Who.
Okay, and it's with a big choir and a full orchestra.
Yeah, we were trying to count just before. I think it's over 100 people on stage, a band, an orchestra and a choir, yeah.
And Peter, what are you giving?
Well, I'm hosting it.
Oh, I see.
So I come on and I do the easy bit, to be honest with you.
Are you at a lectern at the side with a folder?
Yeah. No lectern, sadly. Presidential autocue. So I just come on, I introduce the...
Velvet jacket? Velvet jacket? I'm seeing a velvet jacket.
I tried the velvet jacket. Well, maybe I should for over here. Yeah, so I just come on and introduce various bits and give Ben a bit of a hard time for, conducting it. And I just say he just waves his arms about a bit. I don't know what he's doing. But it's fun, and it's a fantastic show.
Were you involved? Because it's already been a big hit in Australia.
Yes, we've been twice, and Peter and I have worked on it.
Yeah. It's fun. It went down amazingly well.
Is this the easiest job you've ever had, Peter?
No, not quite the easiest job. There's a little bit of pressure.
You have to turn pages.
It's fun. It is fun because
that music. I mean, that wall of sound behind you must be phenomenal.
It is, and that's really why people say this all the time. That's why I wanted to do it. When I was at school, I was dragged along by my music teacher to symphonic concerts at the Royal Festival Hall, thinking I would hate them until you hear a symphony orchestra play that kind of music. You don't really appreciate it. You can hear it on the radio or you can play it on your CD. It's not quite the same when you're there and hear the impact of that sound. And this music is amazing.
So 100 people on stage. So what sort of venues are you playing?
We're playing big arenas this time. We're starting off at Wembley, which is a great place to start. And we're going up to Manchester, Newcastle, Glasgow, Leeds. And yeah, we hope for big audiences. It's a wonderful show. We did it first at the Proms. They were very gracious and allowed us to be part of the season in 2008. And since then, we've been back 3 times, and it's wonderful to see the faces of kids so engrossed in Doctor Who, and yet so engrossed in experiencing a live orchestra, which doesn't often happen for kids around them.
We should mention, of course, also the monsters that are roaming around.
The monsters, yeah.
Over your shoulder, a Cybermen may appear and sort of tap you.
Oh, so there's visual...
Yes, it's a visual
huge screen with the various adventures of the Doctors playing in sync with the music.
Oh, I see. So you reference the episodes they're from.
Absolutely, yeah.
And does that still work? Or because these are these reorchestrated, or are they?
Yeah, we do arrangements of Doctor's adventure themes, and then there'll be a wonderful edited compilation of the various adventures, and sometimes we do a classic piece of music from previous. So Peter will be up on the screen, which is rather wonderful,
rather scary. To see yourself all those years ago,
untouched by time.
And there's always a moment when the Daleks invade the arena and take over the stage. They try to kidnap me. Peter's very valiantly.
I save the day with a cup of tea, and all is fine. But it is very much, it's almost interactive, not quite interactive, but they are in the auditorium. These
now, and because you're doing these big arenas, presumably it's not just the die-hard Doctor Whovians. It's music fans and it's people who just like to see big orchestras.
Yeah, I think it's very definitely for the children who watch the series and wouldn't dream of coming to a concert like this. And this gives them the impetus to go, and they get a great experience, I think. Definitely families and obviously the die-hard fans will always be there.
And Ben, are you involved in the TV show? Do you do those?
I am, yeah.
So you do those orchestrations as well?
Exactly, orchestrate and conduct with the wonderful BBC National Orchestra of Wales. They're our house band for Doctor Who. Yeah. So we go up to Cardiff.
It wouldn't be the same without Ben. It really wouldn't. I mean, he's done an amazing job over the last years.
Which business savvy person came up with this idea?
Well, I tell you what, it was Julie Gardner, who you'll know as the executive producer of the early series with Russell T Davies of Doctor Who when it came back, and she was so wonderfully enthusiastic about Murray's music and about what we were doing with the orchestra that she suggested, why don't we do a concert? She booked the Millennium Centre in Wales, and we suddenly had this wonderful gig for children in need back in 2006. David Tennant came to present it at the,
Who?
You'll know him. He came with 5 minutes' notice to come and present it. We had a wonderful show, and really that was the first Doctor Who Symphonic Spectacular, and we didn't really know it then. But it's become this wonderful thing that we all get a chance to do.
I think the success of it surprised everybody. I mean, at the Proms as well. I mean, it went down extraordinarily well.
But I think soundtrack music has really become something that's a very popular way of experiencing classical music or orchestral music, and it's wonderful. And people buy CDs probably more than other mediums, other types of music. Soundtrack collectors are very avidly clinging on to the idea of having a collection of CDs.
Well, it's that idea, isn't it, where music is written in a way to be incidental. So when you move it sort of stage center, you hear it in a totally different way.
It's
you
a
appreciate
dream
it
for a
different way.
composer, really. I mean, because you put so much detail into the show that often is lost. It's probably lost on some of the audience, but you know it's there because of the sound effects and
Well, Murray
dialogue
Gold,
and all
has
that.
Murray Gold done this thing where he's got in this sort of batch of Doctor Who's, he's got a separate theme for each
Yes,
Doctor.
I mean Murray's always been that idea of leitmotif, the kind of thing that John Williams does for Star Wars. You know Lord Vader's theme, you know that theme for Princess Leia, and Murray's done the same thing for Doctor Who. He's had a theme for all the different companions, and every time the Doctor regenerates, there'll be a new theme. Capaldi's new theme is amazing. It's like an epic.
And was it the same when you were doing it, Peter?
No, really, the music, although it was fantastic, it was the radiophonic workshop. It was very much incidental music. It wasn't approached in terms of themes, and not really in terms of complete pieces of music. At least I didn't get the sense of that. It was fantastically atmospheric and extraordinarily important to the programme. But I do think that one of the great things about the new series is that the approach to the music is just bigger and just extraordinary.
Listen, we'll get to questions because obviously anything that involves Doctor Who, there's a huge response from the listeners because the listeners are mad about it. But right now, another bit of Doctor Who music composed by Murray Gold. Now, this is Valet Decem. Have I said that correctly?
Perfect.
Validation, yeah.
Really? Really?
Well, give or
Are you
take.
just humouring an old man?
We've heard worse. I mean,
Okay, here it is. Also, while we were listening, but almost in an homage, we were listening to it as background music. Because, of course, we must mention that Peter is also in the West End.
Yes, I'm doing Gypsy, which opens properly on Wednesday, but we're in previews now. And that goes on for 8 months until November. But because this Doctor Who Symphonic Spectacular was a pre-booked date I had, I've got a week off at the end of May to go and host the series of concerts, and then go straight back into Gypsy.
It's lovely to be working.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Jobs is good.
Come and see it. Melda Staunton is amazing. And
And also, what a great job. And the reviews in Chichester were
they
extraordinary.
were extraordinary. I wasn't in it in Chichester.
Oh, well, now they'll be even better now.
So, but that doesn't worry me, see, because I'll just use the Chichester reviews if my reviews are terrible. No, it's an extraordinary show.
Oh. Some questions for you all. Now, Harry in Exeter wants to know, Peter, when Doctor Who fans, Whovians, come up to you, which episode that you starred in generates the most sort of fan discussion?
Ooh, that's difficult. I suppose my favourite is Caves of Androzani, and I think that's considered with the fans to be one of the best. In fact, I think it was voted the best Doctor Who story ever. Much to the chagrin of Stephen Moffat. He obviously thought all of his should have been much better. But yeah, Caves of Androzani was a classic, written by Bob Holmes, who was a great Doctor Who writer.
Ben, apart from Peter Davison, we will spare his blushes, who is your favourite? Oh, now, Pete in Windsor, I don't think you should use the phrase old Who. Former Doctor Who. Let's go with former.
Old Who. This is going to be interesting. I'm just going to sit back here.
I think the actor that really encapsulated the character of Doctor Who.
Apart from Peter.
Well, I think perhaps even ahead of Peter was the wonderful actor Colin Baker. And I know Peter's a great admirer of his work. Perhaps you'd like to talk about
this
Colin
is based
for
on
10
the idea.
minutes.
Whenever Colin and I, and so indeed Sylvester, appear at a convention, we spend most of our time insulting each other. So, we do. What's the word? A polite word for a family show. We mock each other's
There you go.
appearance of
Yeah.
Doctor Who, which is why Bennis very kindly brought Colin's name up.
Kath in Coventry, she's gone all kind of, I don't know, it's a crazy question. It's just this is a mad question.
Right.
Kat spent a bit too long thinking about this. If you had a real TARDIS, Peter, which would you prefer to go back and revisit? All Creatures Great and Small or Campion? I loved and miss both.
Oh, I don't know. I'd love to go back. I just don't think there were enough Campion. I didn't really appreciate it at the time. It was the last of those shows that the BBC did in a rather languorous, relaxed way. We'd go off and film for 3 or 4 weeks. Just
I don't
doing
really
nothing.
remember Campion. What was Campion about?
It was a book based on books by Marjorie Allingham, and he was a sort of sleuth, but he was a rather grand sleuth. Came from a very sort of distinguished family, but slightly mysterious. And he would have friends both in the criminal world and in the aristocracy. It was a good series.
Oh,
but
you just ring a bell now.
yeah,
Yes,
they
I
weren't
did
like
see
little
it.
sort of round glasses. And Brian Glover was my right-hand man, who was an ex-criminal. Not in real life, obviously.
No, that would be wrong.
It was a good series, but there weren't quite enough of them. So I'd like to go back and revisit them.
And Neil and Cromer, final question to Peter. For someone who's done so much stuff in your career and played so many roles, do you ever get bored of talking about Doctor Who?
No, well, not really. I was able to move on when I left Doctor Who fairly quickly to other stuff, so I've never felt the need to distance myself from it, and I'm very happy to be involved in every aspect of it. I love it. I mean, I watched it I was the first Doctor really who grew up watching Doctor Who, so I have my own little bit of fandom.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
The Doctor Who Symphonic Spectacular begins on May the 23rd for a limited run of 13 performances in London, Cardiff, Birmingham, Leeds, Newcastle and Glasgow. Peter and Ben, thank you so much for coming to see us.
Thank you very much indeed.